Hello and welcome back with me, Admiral. Joining me back on Star Trek Fleet Command as always. So in today's video, as per the poll that has been determined, I'll quickly get that up just so I can see exactly how many people voted. But there was a fair number of you, or a decent amount of you, that did vote. So the first vote was obviously for what video you wanted to see next, and overwhelmingly, there was only 20 votes cast, but overwhelmingly people wanted to see a tech tree walkthrough. And then the second vote for that was then, which 18 people voted for. So thank you very much for people that did participate in that. Most people then, 39% of you voted for the outlaw tree. So that brings us to this video today. Today's video is also a video where it's going to be slightly different, because at the end of this video, I am going to do a camera reveal of actually what I look like in person. Be the first time, and then going forward I'll be in obviously every video going forward, but you'll have to wait until the end to see what I look like. So look forward to that, I guess. So in today's video we're going to talk about the tech tree itself. We are in the outlaw tech tree, as this is the first one you wanted to see. We're going to have a little walkthrough of what I personally think you should try and focus on, try and max out, and then potentially not necessarily max out, but certainly get to a decent enough level to be able to move forward with your account, and then move on to the next sort of research. So I'm going to do a quick overview of what I've unlocked personally with this account, and then we will go back and look into more detail. So as you can see, I've got all the first stuff as you would expect, and then I've got all the first tier of the stellar stuff unlocked, all up to level 1. And we've unlocked the second tier of the stellar stuff, but only unlocked it. We haven't gone any further than that, because you need basically the little wing things, stellar particles, which I haven't personally been focusing on too much with. So that's why I haven't unlocked all of this, but we can still talk about it as some of it is relevant for this guide, especially the high-end stuff, especially for you G4 plus ships. This is going to be relevant for them. So going back, we'll break it up into segments. The first segment we'll do up to data storage. So everything within this first sort of segment, from outlaw mechanics all the way to data storage, that's sort of the first segment I would personally say. That sort of contribute quite nicely to each other. It's all to do with the augment ship as well. Well, some of it certainly is. So kind of goes up to this just before the stellar research. This is all kind of sort of part 1 to get the stellar research unlocked. Otherwise you can't build the stellar until this is done, so just bear that in mind. But the ones that I would personally focus on, as I've already done, is I would definitely max out your outlaw mechanic as quick as humanly possible, as this repair cost reduction for all ships by 35% can obviously massively help. And as I am such a fan of getting around the galaxy and hyperdriving around the galaxy, or warping, in this case warping around the galaxy, lightweight engines is something that you can obviously benefit from that too. So bonus warp speed with empty cargo for all ships. So providing obviously the ship is empty, you can pretty much get around 25%, not 25% faster, but you get 25% bonus towards your speed. Some other good ones is fighting dirties. It's not horrendously bad. I wouldn't say it was definitely necessary, but it's not a bad one to have. So flat bonus to piercing stats for the first round of combat when defending the station. So if you are thinking of coming under attack, and I know a lot of you out there do get hit quite often, as you point out to me, saying your servers are incredibly hostile, so this could be of benefit to you, as it does give a flat bonus straight away. However, I think I've just maxed it out to the point where I needed it to unlock some further down things. But obviously you can decide whether that's good enough for you or not. Then you come on to the sort of second tier things. We'll come back to the prime in a minute, but we'll come on to the second tier stuff. This one, level 5, so improves the cost efficiency of the common plutonium for components. This one is a must if you want to upgrade your stellar, to be honest. You need this, so this is 60% bonus towards that. And this is definitely a must. You must try and get this. It's maxed out as well. And then you come to the other two on the outside of that, flanking it, and this is to do with your platforms and defending your base. Again, this could be useful if you're on an incredibly hostile server. I'm not on an incredibly hostile server, so I haven't bothered putting the effort into these, but these could come in handy for you on a hostile server, being the maximum 200% bonus for the hull, obviously the health of the defense platforms, and then for the shield of the defense platforms, again, this is a 200% bonus. These could be incredibly useful on a hostile server. So then coming on to the augment ships, and basically when it says augment ship, it just means the botany bay, or the BB, or whatever you want to call it. It's the botany bay. That's what it's for. So it's to get your botany bay of a higher HP level, so that helps the hull. You got the shields down here. It's very straightforward. If I'm honest, you don't need these incredibly high. The only reason you should upgrade these if you want to then upgrade your data storage. Getting your data storage is quite useful because it does add 1,000 on each time, and then the way that it works, your rest of your storage out is a percentage of whatever your base is. So because the base is then naturally higher, then it works out higher overall. So it actually probably goes up more than 1,000 because of the way the percentages in the game work out. So this is an incredibly useful thing to have. Mine's only level 5. I am focusing on this more recently though, because I need to go, I'm using that ship at the moment to mine isogen, so having a bigger protected cargo for isogen is incredibly useful. Going back to then this prime in the middle, which is the Apex Gateway Pilot. So this one I would definitely recommend getting as and when you can. So it costs these Apex Research medals. The way to get them medals is normally through the store itself, the event store itself, and you normally have to buy them when the event comes round and stuff. They normally cost, I believe, something like 5 to get so many. But yeah, this is again another bonus, flat bonus towards your warp speed for all ships. And then when you get it to 15, it gives you 100% bonus towards your warp speed for all ships, which is incredibly good. As you can see, I'm level 11, so that gives me an 80% bonus. So getting around the galaxy, as the galaxy is incredibly big, is very useful. And then you come on to the more, these are the stuff that I personally, again, haven't really too focused on. The only reason they're as high as they are is because you need to get them up to then unlock the stellar research to unlock the ship. So you're going to need to do the basics on them at least. And you can't really go much more because of data storage anyway. But this improves the cost efficiency of the interceptor parts for components. So this is the actual parts themselves, not anything else. And to be honest, you can just buy them with Latinum if you really want to do. But if you wanted to save Latinum, this is a good way of making it more cost effective instead of using all your Latinum when it comes to upgrading ships. And then you got plutonium bartering 2. So this improves the cost efficiency of uncommon plutonium for components. Again, this is something that you should try and get maxed out as and when you can. It's a very useful thing to have because you want to keep the cost down as low as possible if you can help that. And then if you want to get your BB a little bit more advanced, then you can go to the 2 that we have here, which is warp and impulse speed. Impulse speed is sort of useful, to be fair, because it means you can get to nodes a lot faster within the systems. So this is actually quite useful. Mine's at level 2. It's not maxed out or anything, but it is quite useful to have it. And your BB is one of the fastest ships in the game as well, because of this ability that you can obviously increase its impulse speed. And again, the warp speed, again, BB is one of the fastest. I've found one of the fastest warping ships in the game as well. And this is something else to increase that range, speed as well, which is obviously incredibly useful. Prime Augment Favor improves output for augment reputation bundles in the faction store. This is useful if you do a lot of augment stuff, if you do a lot of obviously augment style faction stuff. But it's quite expensive and I wouldn't overly recommend it. But if you really wanted to, it is kind of useful, I guess, if you are going to utilize it to the fullest extent. But I personally wouldn't bother, if I'm honest. And then you get to the stellar research. This is how you unlock the ship. This is how you build the ship. And this is what grants you that ability. So this is that. And then it not only does it do that, it gives you a 300% bonus versus all the enemies because of the ship itself. And then this is where we come into the stellar research. This sort of first block Other than the middle stuff, this is kind of all stellar stuff, and going along it goes stellar, and then it's more eclipse stuff, and then it goes into sort of more basey stuff, and then near the end it goes into more armadas to do with eclipse armadas and stuff like that, and then you've got more G4 stuff near the end there, to be honest, which we won't really talk too much about. I will briefly go over them, but we won't talk too much in depth about them because they're just repair speed, for example, for G4 ships, impulse speed for G4 ships, and such of the likes. But yeah, the first things we're going to talk about is the anarchist weaponry. This is something that I definitely 1000% recommend getting this done as fast as humanly possible. My Stella is not incredibly powerful, but because of this research it becomes incredibly useful, and it can still hit reasonably high level ships because of this research. So definitely get this maxed out as soon as you can. All you need is these Outlaw research credits, and they're very accessible as well. So definitely 1000% get this maxed out, and I will be doing this very shortly once my research tree finishes. And then you got stellar weaponry, again another thing that you should definitely focus on, because it just allows your even low level stellars to be able to hit quite high level stuff. It's incredibly useful to have. Again, the only problem is this needs obviously these stellar particles we were talking about, but if you go off my stellar scrappage scheme, I definitely recommend checking that video out. I'll try and post a link in the description down below, or I'll put a pop-up banner in the top corner for you to obviously go to that video and check out my stellar scrappage scheme. You will get the particles quite rapidly by doing that stellar scrappage scheme there. The hull, again, is useful, gives you a flat bonus. It just allows you to last a bit longer. And then I haven't really focused too much on the hideout weaponry. I've just done the minimum required to get to the next levels, and then maybe one added because it didn't need any of this research at the time. And it just used the 3-star uncommon stuff, which is not so bad. But yeah, just be careful. If you don't want to use the uncommons, then obviously just stop at that level and move on. That's what I would recommend. However, these ones in the middle, something that I definitely need to focus on. Again, part of this research tree is definitely try and get this done. So crystal research, so just basically decreases the amount of crystal you need for certain researches in the game. Again, incredibly useful. Level 10 goes up to 50%, which is very good. And then crystal building, again, this is something else that you definitely should be focusing on as well. Again, another useful one. And then whilst we're on the research and building efficiencies, once you get throughout, try and focus on these as well. Try and get them as high as you can, as quick as you can as well. So you got gas research on this one, this on the building one. So you got gas building efficiency, this is the first one, and then you got gas research efficiency as the second one. So you can focus on them. So just bear that in mind. Try and get them too. And then you got the same with ore, which is just at the end here. Try and get them as high as they can be, as quick as they can be as well. As soon as you unlock them, try and get them up. And then it just goes into more random stuff then. So you got augment credit yield. So this improves output for the independent credit bundles. Again, if independent credits are hard to get and hard to come by, so this is something that can increase that amount. So definitely look into doing that one. And then assimilation credit yield improves the output from independent credit bundles in the Borg store. This one's the more advantageous one. The reason this one's, I would say, was better overall is because you can get this from using the Vidar, and then in the store of the Vidar, when you get the credits, this increases the amount of credits that you get in that store, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does. So yeah, that's something that I would personally go for over the augment store. This one is a better one to go for, in my opinion. Moving on, you got rogue hulls. Again, for all ships, increases the HP for all ships. I've just got for the basic one because it just gives a flat bonus of 25%, and then after that it goes up in 5% increments until the sort of later levels. And then that's the same for crafty, this one as well. I've missed the shields one. That's the same for the shields as well, 25% bonus, and then it goes up in 5 up to like 60-70%, and then it's in 10% increments. Stellar warp speed, You don't really need to go incredibly fast with the Stellar, but it's something that's useful if you're really far away from them Eclipse spaces and stuff. And then Crafty Engineer, which is your shield HP for the Stellar versus Eclipse enemies. Again, just a flat bonus, and I wouldn't worry about this too much because, again, uses particles and it's not incredibly useful, if I'm honest. Prime Stellar, so you got cost efficiency for unique materials, which is, it can be useful, but again, you got to spend money to get it. And then Apex Chop Shop, which is a bonus scrapping speed, which it could be useful if you're scrapping your Stellar quite regularly, but again, I personally, I mean, you can get the first one unlocked because it only takes obviously the same credits as the other thing, but I would use them credits, if I'm honest, for just getting the Apex Gateway done first, and then once you've done that, you can focus a little bit on that if you really wanted to. Eclipse Defense, you do need to get, once you unlock everything, you will get a little token, which is that thing in the little corner. You can get that, and then this is obviously, then you unlock this research, and then this is bonus mitigation stats versus Eclipse enemies. This, again, incredibly useful if you have a low tier Stellar, because this is going to help you out mitigate a lot of the damage coming in, and it only requires the Outlaw research credits. And then you're going to look into plutonium bartering free, which is what I'm currently researching, as you can see, just to get this flat 20% bonus, which improves the cost efficiency of the rare plutonium for components. This is something that you definitely want to focus on because rare plutonium is incredibly hard to come by, especially if you can't get into the armadas or anything like that. So try and get this one as fast as you can to the highest level you can get it to, because this is going to help you out massively when it comes into leveling up or tearing up at least one of your Stellars. Ideally, you should have 2 Stellars, so just bear that in mind. And then we're going into other things. So you got Eclipse Piercing, Eclipse Targeting. These, I would personally just level these up to get the gas and both the gas building and research unlocked. So just level them up to whatever the minimum is for the time being, and then get these unlocked to get them to the maximum level, and to get the ship components efficiency up as well. Material cost efficiency for all ship components. This is massive. I would definitely try and race to this if you can. Get this unlocked and then get this up to the highest tier it can be as well. But obviously, bearing in mind, you have to start scrapping your Stellar quite regularly to get enough particles to get up these tiers, as they become quite expensive. So bear that in mind. Also, you have to pick which side you're going to choose. So you only get one of these to start with. Choose between the Augment or Mud research branches, gaining the research Eclipse. So you have to pick which side you want to go down. So you either want to go down the top branch, or you're going to want to go down the bottom branch. You can't do both, so you do need to pick. So do you want gas for building research, or do you want a gas for the research efficiency bonus? And then there's obviously a bit of things in both. You got ship components there, and then you got highway robbery, which is bonus loot for Eclipse enemies for Stellar. I would personally go down the top branch to go for ship component efficiency. That's the branch I would go down, which is then gas for buildings as well. That's the route I would go, but that is completely your choice, so just bear that in mind as well. You can only go down one tree. So I would personally go the top tree, and then you move on to the rogue tactics. We're not going to talk about these primes because, again, this prime you can get using these materials, but focus on the other 2 things first before you then get to these ones. That's what I would personally do. And then you got rogue credit yield, which is, yeah, credit yield. Rogue tactics. So again, you need this little token, but you can't get that until you've unlocked the required research below it. And then acquired gain reputation with the rogue faction, and that's how you actually get them. You have to get reputation with the rogue faction overall to unlock them tokens. And then you move on to, again, picking which branch and which tree you want to go down, as the top tree leads all the way down your armada piercing, accuracy, shield piercing, and then it looks at the Out of the Darkness, which is unlock a special calm mission in the rogue faction store, which is kind of interesting. I don't know what that mission is because I've never done it, so please, if anyone has done it, please let me know what that's like. And then you got Gateway Pilot, which is bonus warp speed for all ships again, so even faster getting around the galaxy. I'm pretty sure you can access this one from both trees, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. And then ideally you want that research for the building, the ore building research. However, you won't be able to get that if you go the top route, and the top route is arguably the way you want to go, because that gets us to trit, and then the titanium cost efficiency for all ship components is reduced, and that is the way that I would go as well, which is a bit of a shame because then you get the ore research rather than the ore buildings, but which is the way I would rather go, get the ore buildings, but it's still useful to have all on the research as well, which is kind of useful. And then you get your obviously G4 impulse for all G4 ships, which is a bonus, and then you just get that flat bonus of up to 25, which is quite significant if I'm honest. But yeah, that's the way I would go. I would go as you're going down, because you don't need to pick the first two, you can go all of it, and then as you get to then the second tier, I would then pick the top route and then a top route again. I'm pretty sure that's the way it goes. I'm not sure why both of them were unlocked, but I'm pretty sure you have to pick which route you want to go down because you only have one of these tokens. I don't know if you can buy another one, so please let me know in the comments down below if you can buy another one of these to then go down the other research tree. But if you only have one, I would go top route and then top route again, because that's the way to get the ship components and the titanium upgrade as well as extra warp speed, a few extra things, targeting as well. And then you'll still get your ore research and you'll get your G4 ship repairs as well, which is still very useful. So just bear that in mind. But then this one says it requires both, so I'm arguably thinking you should be able to go down both trees eventually. You might just have to buy more of them, more of these sort of token things. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure because I've not got this far into the tree myself. So please let me know in the comments down below. And as you've all been waiting for, let's go to the camera. So hello everyone. Obviously I'm Admiral. First time showing myself on a video. I will show myself in the future on every video that comes from now. So yeah, this is it. This is what I look like. Nothing special. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.